me. So as she said, I'm Dr. Rebecca Krupemeyer. I've been an audiologist for over 30 years. I work at Portage Valley Hearing, and we just celebrated our 24th year anniversary in downtown Pemberville. Prior to working there, I also worked at area hospitals, including St. Charles, Toledo Hospital, Flower Hospital, and Blanchard Valley down in Findlay. I help people hear better, and I love what I do. So today I want to talk about 10 facts that you should know about hearing loss and hearing aids. And at the end, if you have any questions, I'll answer some of your questions. Number one, I want to talk about hearing aids don't make your hearing normal. They improve your hearing. And this is especially important if you're a caregiver. The reason I say that is because you can have a huge influence on whether your loved one wears hearing aids. So you can be supportive, but if you start saying things like, negative comments, do you have your hearing aids in? You're not hearing me, turn those things up. It's very discouraging to the person who wears hearing aids, and you can sabotage their success by pointing out their failures. So something I do like to tell the family members is don't expect your loved one to have normal hearing, but expect them to have significantly improved hearing. I'm reminded of a time when a patient came in with her daughter, and the daughter said, we were just getting out of the car, and I said, Mom, did you lock the door? And she said, what? Did I unlock the door? She goes, can you believe she said that? I said, that was one syllable. She missed one syllable. So that's not very supportive, and it's very discouraging for the family member. Number two, hearing aids are based on a prescription, and the prescription can be reprogrammed into the same hearing aids. So as your hearing changes, you need to have your hearing rechecked so that your hearing aids can be updated. Number three, hearing aids require routine maintenance, cleanings, and adjustments. We recommend you get your hearing aids cleaned every we say 2 to 3 times a year. See this coming in. 2 to 3 times a year. Yes, they get plugged up with earwax. They get plugged up with oils in the skin, dry skin, and the hearing aids can actually die. So they just stop working. So we suggest 2 to 3 times a year, bring your hearing aids in and get them cleaned up. Yeah. That's why it's important that you're not buying your hearing aids over the internet or from a catalog. Because if you're doing that, nobody's servicing your hearing aids. So the follow-up visits are just as important as the initial fitting. Number 4, Medicare will pay for the hearing test. Medicare will not pay for hearing aids. Very few insurances actually cover hearing aids. So if you have insurance an employer, seldom do our hearing aids covered. If you have Medicare Advantage, which is different than Medicare, sometimes they offer a discount program, but then you have to go to the places that they recommend. Number 5, untreated hearing loss is linked to social isolation, depression, paranoia, loneliness, and embarrassment. However, hearing aid use, so if you choose to wear hearing aids, it has been proven to be beneficial in facilitating an active, independent, engaged, and healthier lifestyle. Oftentimes what we see is as people start to lose their hearing, they start withdrawing from social events for fear of embarrassment or because they're wasting their time. What's the point in going to church? I can't hear what's going on. So they withdraw. And we all know that social isolation is a risk factor for dementia. Mm-hmm. So you want to stay socially engaged. You want to be able to hear, and don't let your hearing loss be an excuse for that. Now, you may have heard in the news about the link between hearing loss and dementia. There's a link, but we can't say it's causation. We cannot say hearing loss causes dementia. We cannot say dementia causes hearing loss. We don't know that yet. What we know is that there is a correlation. So some have theorized that as you lose your hearing, you also have to use more of your cognitive load to interpret what people are saying. And this can cause some dementia. We also know that the symptoms of dementia can also look like the symptoms of hearing loss and vice versa. So if you mishear that you're having an appointment today at 3 o'clock and you think it's at 10 o'clock or you think it's tomorrow, sometimes people say, oh, she's confused. Well, she may not have been confused. She just didn't hear the right information in the first place. So it may not be a memory issue. Those with memory issues are encouraged to get a hearing test for that reason. Number 7, and I just had this question the other day. This lady comes to me, she's got hearing loss, she wants to get hearing aids. I saw her a year ago, she needed hearing aids then, returned this week and said her husband wasn't with her this time. He was with her last time. And my notes say husband doesn't want her to get hearing aids. So today, or a couple days ago, she says, my husband's not here today because he doesn't want me to get hearing aids. He thinks if I get hearing aids, it's going to make my hearing get worse. That's not true. Hearing aids do not make your hearing get worse. But what I have seen is that as you get hearing aids and you realize what you were missing, you're more inclined to wear your hearing aids. And when you don't wear them, either because you forgot to put them in or whatever, you really miss them. And you realize how much you didn't hear. But I have tested patients who say to me, ever since I got hearing aids, I think my hearing has gotten worse. And I have shown them documentation. Your hearing is the same now as it was 9 months ago when you got hearing aids. But now you realize what you're missing. When you lose your hearing, you generally lose it gradually over time to the point where you don't recognize the symptoms. And other people will say to you, your TV is loud. You're asking me to repeat all the time. Those are the hallmark symptoms. You think people mumble. They're not mumbling, you just are having filtered hearing right now, and it sounds like everybody mumbles. So no, hearing aids do not cause your hearing to get worse. Number 8, hearing aids can be paired to a smartphone so that you can hear the caller through your hearing aids. You can also adjust the volume of your hearing aid through your telephone, your cell phone. Now, some people say, I'm not techie. I don't want to do that. I just want to put these hearing aids in and forget it. Yeah, we have that too. So it can be as simple as putting these in and calling it a day and then taking them out at night. Or if you want to be somebody who adjusts them, that's an option also. Number 9, there are 2 types of hearing aid batteries, rechargeable and disposable. So we'll talk about both of those. With disposable batteries, they generally last about 5, 6, 7 days. Take the battery out, put a new one in. They run about 50 cents per battery. We also have rechargeable batteries, and these are much more convenient for those with manual dexterity problems or with visual impairments. I had a patient this morning, legally blind. We went with rechargeables because he could at least feel the charger and figure out how to put the hearing aid in the charger. We felt maybe the batteries you had to change might be a challenge for him. Now, rechargeable batteries are not ideal for everyone. Like for those with severe to profound hearing loss, because it takes 3 hours to charge a battery, that's a long time if you can't hear. If your battery goes dead at 9 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night, putting it on the charger for 3 hours while you can't hear is not convenient at all. If you have a mild hearing loss or moderate hearing loss, you might be able to get by. But if it's severe or profound, you're in a world of silence while that thing is charging. Ideally, rechargeable batteries last all day. But it's like any other rechargeable device you've ever owned, any power tool or anything else, over time, the device doesn't hold a charge all day like it did when it was brand new. Then we have to go in and change the battery. Rechargeable batteries don't last forever, so we do have to change those. Manufacturers are getting to the point where they actually want us to send the hearing aids back for new batteries. We still have a manufacturer we're working with where we can change the batteries in-house. So if you bring your hearing aid in, we can change the battery while you wait. Most of the companies are going to, you send the hearing aid to them so they can change the battery. And that's not real convenient because now you're without a hearing aid for 2 or 3 weeks. while it's being changed. And if it's out of warranty, the cost of that is like $300 per hearing aid. So all the money you thought you saved in getting rechargeables is kind of eaten up with that cost of getting the battery changed. Some of the drawbacks with the rechargeable, you have to remember to take your charger with you. In the past, if you went on vacation and you forgot to pack hearing aid batteries, you walk into a drugstore and pick up a pack of batteries. With the recharger, they're manufacturer specific. You cannot get them in a drugstore. So you have to make sure you have your charger with you. Also, with the rechargeable hearing aids, the manufacturer is building in technical obsolescence. In other words, that hearing aid is going to become obsolete. Because if that hearing aid is 5, 6, 7 years old and you break your charger, I mean, that's feasible. Some people could drop it and break it. You may not be able to get a new charger. Or if your battery needs to go in, your hearing aid needs to go in for a new battery, the manufacturer could tell you, you know what? We don't work with that product anymore. It's an obsolete product. You have to replace your hearing aid. But it's just the battery. So there are some downsides. People think that rechargeable batteries are everything, but there are some things that you should be aware of. And I know for us, troubleshooting hearing aids when they have a rechargeable battery becomes a little bit more involved because we got to figure out, is it the battery? Is it the charger? Or is it the hearing aid itself? When it's a disposable battery, the first thing we do is grab a new battery and stick it in there and make sure that we're not talking about a dead battery. Number 10. How are we doing on time here?
Oh, you're good.
Okay.
Got about 30 minutes still.
Number 10, caption phones. If you ever seen those commercials for caption phones, they're free. In order to get one, you just have to have documentation that you have hearing loss. So I do the hearing test. If you tell me you want a caption call phone, I sign the affidavit saying that you have hearing loss. They will contact you. They will come to your house. They will install the phone for you and show you how it works. So those phones are free. Any questions?
A question about the phone,
Yes.
because my mom had one of those and she sent it back. This was several years ago because it wasn't exact. And what people were saying is not what was coming out.
So it didn't translate
Right.
accurately. It probably depends on the caller and how clear and articulate they speak. And I don't know how well they are now. The complaints I hear from patients if they have one is, I can't read it that fast. That's the complaint. I don't get a lot that it's not clear. Now, I do know one of the advantages of the phone is that you can go back and read the message later. So if you get a phone call, so, we'll see you on Friday at 3:00, you can go back and read it to make sure, did they say Friday or what day was that? You can go back and read the message. Now, the thing is, you do have to answer the phone on that phone. So if you have other extensions in your house, it's not going to record the conversation if you've picked up a different line.
See, she has a pretty bad loss. I mean, she takes her hearing aids out, she doesn't hear.
Right,
Right.
right.
She is able to hear through the telephone.
And yeah, some people will tell me that they hear okay on the phone. Yeah, like their hearing loss, even though it's a significant hearing loss, they do okay on the phone. Now, so I've had some patients that get those phones just so they can hear it ring. So that you can crank up the ringer on those caption call phones, so it's obnoxiously loud. That way you're not missing a phone call. Like you can then go answer on a different phone, but at least you heard the phone ring because you've got this caption call phone. Yeah. Yes.
He has the chargeable one.
Yeah.
But it's not charging. So how do we know if it's the battery, if it's the charger?
Yeah, that's
Or
it.
if, it's the hearing aids?
It's probably not the hearing aids. It's
Okay.
either the battery is depleted. How old are the hearing aids?
Maybe 4 years down, but
Yeah.
it's supposed to be 6 years or something ridiculous.
You're saying they're supposed to last 6 years? Yeah, I've never told my patients that. You know why? Because you're gonna get mad at me if I say that. What we find is they last about 2 years. And I don't care what manufacturers tell us. I'm not telling my patients that. Because as soon as I say it's gonna last 6 years, you're gonna be mad at me when it goes dead at 3 years or 2 years. You're like, why'd you tell me that? So it varies from manufacturer to manufacturer how long they last, but my guess is I would start with new batteries. If that doesn't do the trick, replace the charger.
But they're proprietary, like you said, you can't just take them out, you have to, I think you have to.
Yeah, you have to contact the manufacturer, correct?
Mhm.
Yes, they're proprietary. Yeah, yeah. I know years ago, I went to a class for continuing education units and the guy said, oh, our hearing aids are waterproof. And as proof, I'm gonna stick them in this glass of water. So he took his hearing aids out, he put them in water, gave the whole presentation, blah, blah, blah. When he was done, he took them out and they whistled. See, that's proof, they work. See, our hearing aids are water. I am not telling a single person that these hearing aids are waterproof because I deal with hearing aids that go dead every single day because of moisture. Yes, they might work right now. What are they going to be like in 2 months when corrosion sets in? So I don't, sometimes the manufacturers tell us things and we're just like, common sense says that's not going to work. So yeah, hearing aids are not waterproof. And rechargeable batteries, I have yet to see one that lasts for 6 years, despite what the manufacturers tell us.
Okay, so. I have hearing aids.
Yeah.
And. Mine, one, I mean, it was blinking, I called the person and they said it's probably the battery in it, so
And it can be.
so they could change it and it was only $25.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is when you send it to the
I
manufacturer.
know, and that's what she told me it would have been if they had to do that.
Yep.
Why, and I know you don't know the answer to this question. Why would they do that?
There is a flat fee that they charge when we send a hearing aid in for repair. So it doesn't matter if they fix one problem or they fix 10 problems. It's a flat fee that we get charged. I guess it's nice because we wouldn't know if it was one problem or 10 problem for them to say, oh, okay, in your case, we're only gonna charge you for one problem versus I have 10. So it is always a flat fee. It's nice from that standpoint that we can tell the patient, we know it's gonna be this amount. But yeah,
I just think, I mean.
yeah, if it goes in for repair,
To be out without them for 2 weeks. That
yes.
just seems like a bad decision.
It's a horrible decision in my opinion. Yes, I hate that. I hate that. So the manufacturers who have switched to doing it that way, I have not done a single one like that. Where we have to send them back for that reason. Because it is a huge inconvenience to be without your hearing aid for 2 weeks. And the thing is, you may not have the opportunity to pick the time. Because it may be I'm going on vacation in 3 weeks and today I can't get my hearing aid to charge. Will it be back in time for my lifelong vacation? We're going on a dream vacation and I may not have a hearing aid. Yeah.
Are there programs out there that will help with the cost of hearing aids since this is no longer an option for her to hear? But buying new ones is also very costly.
Yes.
So right now she's going without and struggling to hear people.
Right. So yes, there are programs out there that will help people. Sometimes we get donated hearing aids in our office. And when I say donated, what I mean, somebody had hearing aids, they decided to upgrade. Do you want to keep your old ones? You should keep your old ones because now you've got a backup.
Right.
But some patients are like, nope, I'm never gonna wear those again. You can give them to somebody who needs them. In some cases, it is people who have passed away. Sometimes we'll get somebody who got their hearing aids 9 months ago. They passed away and the family says, I want to donate these. If somebody
Right.
comes in and they don't have the means to pay for them,
Right.
I'd like to donate them for that reason. So we do have that.
How do we go about finding those programs?
I mean, I don't know who else does that. I mean, there's other companies out
That's what
there.
talk to you, we can
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah. And then we also offer 12 months interest-free financing, 2 years financing, 3, depending on how you want to go about that. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
I have hearing aids and sometimes I get a ringing in my ear from the hearing aid
Okay.
and I had it last night and then it stopped. And
How old is the hearing aid?
I can't remember, but I get them like every 2 to 3 years.
Okay. So sometimes it rings if it's not seated properly. So if it starts to work its way out.
Right.
Sometimes it'll do that if there's a blockage in your ear. So if there's wax in there, sound will go in, it'll hit the wax, shoot back out, and it creates a feedback loop.
Hmm.
So that can happen too. Sometimes the hearing aid is just faulty. And it just makes a noise and it needs to go in for repair.
Because mine stopped and started, so it's probably double.
Yeah, yes, those two things would lead me to think it could be whack. Yep, yep.
Probably from what they programmed it before.
Any other questions? Yes,
I just got my new hearing aid 2 months ago. And they're better than what I had before, but when I'm in a group of people. And they laugh, I can't hear the jokes. I don't know what to do about it. I'd go back to them and tell them like.
yeah, because they may not be. So you're not catching the punchline.
Yeah,
You're hearing the beginning of the joke and then you miss the punchline and everybody's laughing. You're like, wait, I missed that punchline.
yeah, I'm tired of missing out.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, sometimes when people talk, they do have a tendency to drop their voice,
Yes.
you know, at the end, and sometimes that happens in a joke.
Yes,
If it's happening frequently, I would say maybe have the hearing aid turned up so that you can hear soft speech. I know one of the tests I do for patients when they get hearing aids is I put microphones in their ears to measure what the hearing aid is doing for soft speech, normal speech, and loud speech. So I can make sure we're hitting targets for each one of those. Because for some people, you might be hitting target if the speech is a normal volume. But if it's a soft volume, you cannot be hitting target. You could be missing your target. And so then it doesn't sound as crisp and clear unless people are talking in a normal volume. But as soon as that voice drops down, then you miss it.
but they can adjust it so I can hear what.
Yep. Yep. We can also adjust hearing aids if loud sounds are too loud. And that's one of the things that we see in patients as they get older. As you get older, it's an age-related issue. Got a couple age-related issues, but that's one of them. Loud sounds are too loud.
I can then.
You have a sensitivity to loud sounds. It's called recruitment. So it's interesting with someone with hearing loss because they need it loud enough. But if we go too high, they'll say, you don't have to shout. You don't have to yell at me. There's a narrow band of comfort. Has to be loud enough, but it can't be too loud. So that's an age-related issue, as is the inability to understand fast speech. That gets worse as you get older.
I know.
Yeah, everybody has that issue. So that's not related to hearing loss. So as these teenagers start talking so quickly, I've had so many patients tell me, can't understand a thing my granddaughter says. She talks a mile a minute. If she just slowed down.
Right.
And that's an age-related issue. So is hearing and background noise. That's age-related. It's an age-related deficit. That as you get into more and more background noise, it becomes more problematic. And there's a test we do for that too. How people hear in background noise. We do it on younger people because it can happen to younger people too. In fact, it can happen to school-age kids. They can have difficulty hearing in background noise.
If you're around really loud noises, is it better to take your hearing aids out?
Yes.
I've got 7 grandchildren and there'll be 9 people in the house and everybody talks at once and it goes really loud, isn't it?
Say turn it down first. Turn down the hearing aids first. So when you said to me noise, I'm thinking, oh yeah, don't ride your lawnmower with your hearing aids in. So anytime you should use ear protection, you use ear protection. You don't wear your hearing aids when you should use ear protection. Now, when it's social noise like this, maybe turn them down. But you don't want to take them out if that's going to mean that you're missing out on the reason you got hearing aids in the first place. You got them to hear speech. So I would rather you turn them down so that you're comfortable than take them out entirely and then sit there like, I don't know what's going on.
Or do you always miss your phone?
Yes.
On these, since they're rechargeable and stuff, they said that you'd have to send them back to replace the battery,
Okay. Yep.
but then they want to adjust them. But how can they adjust them if she's here and it's hearing aids?
I don't know. I don't know because when I'm making adjustments, the patient is literally right in front of me. So they
That's
are
what we
right in
want.
front of me and they are hearing in real time when I'm making the adjustments. Then they come back. So when they get like this morning, the gentleman that came in and got his hearing aids, first time user, I did all the adjustments, put the probes in his ears. Everything sounds good, but I want to see him back in a few weeks to make sure the real world sounds good. So yeah, it sounded great in my office, but what's the real world like for him? Because his life is different than a quiet office environment.
So you come here to work with him?
No,
No, so
We-
everybody comes to my office. Yeah,
Okay.
I do everything on a computer right in front of you. Yeah. So, yeah, those ones you can get online and over the internet and all that, I don't know how they make adjustments. I really don't.
Well, he got them here in BG, but the
Okay.
company disappeared.
Yeah. Okay.
So now his only other option is,
What was it that disappeared?
Lucid out of Kroger.
Oh, Kroger. Okay. Were they at the little, what's that called? The little clinic?
Clinic, yeah,
So they're not at the little clinic anymore? Okay.
I find anybody.
Right, right. Yeah, I didn't know they, how long did they leave?
Probably 2 years, right when.
Oh, okay. I know years ago, there was a company here in Bowling Green. Well, they weren't in Bowling Green. They came to Bowling Green in a hotel and they sold hearing aids out of a hotel room. And people would come and buy their, and I'm like, you can't do that. Because who's gonna service this hearing aid? People think it's like buying a mattress. When you buy a mattress, you're never gonna see the person you bought it from, and you don't ever need to see the person. When you need a new mattress, you go get a new mattress, but when it's hearing aids, they require routine cleaning, routine maintenance, routine parts. And so, yeah, you have to go somewhere where you can get those services. It's not a hotel room or a temporary location. It is suspicious, yes. But I guess if you don't know anything about hearing aids, you never,
exactly, and they were here,
experience with hearing aids, sounds like to me.
I bet.
yeah.
Yeah,
Plus they were located there. We didn't know they were gonna just up and leave.
exactly.
You know,
Yeah, how would you know that?
yeah,
Right, right. Yeah, so when it's a permanent location, you assume they're gonna be there.
right.
Right.
So do you have
Yes.
business cards then?
Yes, I do. Yep, yep. Yes,
I have a question about ear ringing. I
Yeah.
read. Once you take your hearing aids out, it goes away while you have them in, but like at night, and that's the only time that it really bothers me.
oh, is it night? Okay, so hearing aids generate their own noise and it can mask out the ringing. So it's not that it gets rid of the ringing, it masks it out. Now, when I say it has its own noise, you don't perceive the noise. You just notice, oh, so when you have ringing and you get hearing aids, one of three things is gonna happen. Either the ringing is gonna be just as loud as it was yesterday without hearing aids. It's going to be softer, but still present, or it's gonna be masked out entirely where you don't perceive it. Of those three scenarios, softer is the most common I see. They go, oh, yeah, I guess I can still hear it, but it's not as loud as it used to be. Well, as soon as you take it out.
Night
Right.
is the only time I notice it.
And probably because you're in quiet. Most people will say it only rings when it's quiet. So absent sound, your ears ring. So what some people do is they'll put a little bit of a noise generator in the room, whether it's white noise of some sort, a fan, a radio in between, just something to generate a little bit of noise that masks it out.
Okay, so I have tinnitus ringing in the ears. And the hearing aids does help mine,
Mhm.
but like if I'm doing things outside getting sweaty, I take them off during the daytime. If I take them off during the daytime, at those nights are the ones where I hear it, and I actually have worn to bed before.
For that reason, just to you wear it to bed just to get rid of the ringing? Okay. Are they rechargeable?
Yeah.
How do you charge them then? Just take them out in the morning and put them in the
I
charger?
didn't have them in during the day because I.
Oh, you put them on the
Right.
charger while you were outside?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we have some patients that wear their hearing aids overnight. Especially if they have significant hearing loss and they wouldn't hear like the fire alarm thing, smoke detector. But most patients, they do take them out at night. I mean, that's what we tell them. You don't sleep with them on, but I get it. Some people live alone and they need the security of being able to hear. So it makes sense.
My comment that I would tell people if they don't have them yet, but they're going to get them, give them a chance.
Yes,
Some people, they try them, for a day or,
they give up too quickly.
and you have
Yes.
a chance.
And that's what I say about people who order them online or get them out of a catalog. They'll say to me, are these just as good? I say, listen here. As long as you recognize that you are not doing the best that you can do, because what I don't want you to do is try a cheap set of hearing aids and then abandon hearing aids the rest of your life and say, well, I tried some and they didn't work for me.
Right.
Because that's not a right comparison. That's not a proper comparison. Real hearing aids sound much better than what you can get over the counter or out of a magazine. They just sound so much better. And I've heard this multiple times from my patients who have tried them. I don't have an issue with you trying them, but just don't cross off hearing aids as they didn't work for me because you tried a horrible set. Any questions? We're gonna do a drawing. Did everybody fill out their little raffle ticket?
That's where we're.
Yeah, just your name.
Do you want me to go around and collect them?
Yep, you wanna just collect them, we'll throw them in here. Does anybody need anything, caption call information or business card?
Yeah. Business card.
Oh, okay.
Business.
You? Do you want, thank you. Just one, that's Matt. I gave you one, right? Gave you one.
Next.
Pass them.
Good, working.
Yeah, definitely. I would say hearing is hereditary in many cases, yeah. And you can be genetically predisposed to hearing loss as a result of noise too. So you can have two people that worked in a factory and worked right next to each other in the factory. One has significantly more hearing loss because of genetic predisposition.
Okay, so I do have another question. My mom has hearing aids.
And hers whistled?
And my left one and her right one kind of make noises
Yeah,
as we.
yeah.
And then they kind of went goofy and we both had to go to, she lives down your line, so we both had to go to our audiologist. And they had to.
It's weird. I don't know, I don't.
Did you
With each other. I understand why they look so. No, I wouldn't think so. Are they different manufacturers too?
Yes.
Yeah, so that should happen. That's weird. Yeah, I just chopped that up. That's weird. I understand why the hearing aids whistle. You've got sound coming out of yours going into your mom's and vice versa. So I get that, but it shouldn't mess up the programming at all. Yeah,
And my audiologist and she said, oh, that can't happen, but.
it can happen. Everything can happen. I don't believe nothing when people say, oh, that never happens. Oh, it could happen. Welding can affect hearing aids. So people who weld can erase the program in hearing aids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.